Like my wife can be in France, and she would be considered as French. Like a lot of people, we've got a lot of immigrants.
Yeah.
Right, and they look different, but they're not.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
Europe, though, right? That's all of Europe.
Right.
When-
No one looks.
When you call somebody in London is black, Chinese, or any, you talk to him in English. We talk to them in French. We expect them to be native in the country.
Yeah.
And here, if you see a white or a black, you don't talk to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't talk to him in Chinese.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not.
But sometimes it gets confusing. You see a Chinese-looking person and they speak Russian.
That's also true. Yeah. My favorite experience was I was taking two new teachers to dinner, and one was an American, but an Asian American, who looked Chinese, but she doesn't speak Chinese. She's just Chinese looking, and the other was a Korean. So again, Asian looking, but doesn't speak
Both
Chinese.
ni-haos don't work.
So we go to dinner, and the waitress ignores me completely, starts speaking to both of them who don't speak any Chinese, and I reply
And then
to
you're
the
like,
waitress.
Fuyan?
I reply to the waitress, and she looks at me like surprised, and then still continues talking to the two Asian-looking people.
It's like, I recognize
Like,
you.
he said something in Chinese, but can
And-
you translate for me?
And that's the interesting thing about China. It's so Chinese, you know, like you in the West, you see people of all different races and backgrounds, and you just automatically assume they are French or American or British. But in China, you assume they're Chinese.
Of course. Because they didn't have immigration, of course. We are the first generation of immigrants.
Yeah,
We have to
the country was closed,
We
right?
have to consider it. We are the first immigrants. We are not Marco Polo, but but you know, like mass, we are not mass immigration.
Yeah.
But like a lot of immigrants, like maybe 20 years, maybe 10 years, not even 20.
I think the
years.
country opened in the, I want to say 80s, but I might be wrong there. But it was closed for a long time.
Yeah,
it
it-
didn't accept anybody.
It opened with Deng Xiaoping, in the 80s,
Yeah.
late, early 80s.
Americans that were coming over here, didn't they? Before they didn't have Pinyin in the schools until.
Well, they had a different system of pinyin, which was terrible. Which is why we say Peking instead of Beijing, and Qingdao has a TS instead of a Q. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult because about this race thing, it's difficult in China because you'll never, even if you speak perfectly Chinese, you'll never be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to accept it, it's not
Yeah.
judging it, you know. It's completely.
Yeah, you'll never be. There'll always be someone who's surprised you can speak Chinese, and
Someone taking photos.
someone taking
Even if you
photos.
can't speak Chinese, even if you know ni hao, they'll be like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Your Chinese is so good.
Yeah. And then you're like, "What?"
Boost of confidence. I was like,
It's false confidence though, because it's just
Yeah.
hello.
And yeah, it is. I mean, Chinese is a super foreign language in every sense of the word.
you got all the dialects here as well.
Yeah.
Also true. You can be very good at Chinese and then go to somewhere where they don't speak Mandarin, Putonghua.
Yeah.
They just speak the local dialect.
That's crazy.
Is there any? France is also old. Is there any French dialects? Is there different French languages?
Yes, but the difference between China is, I think in the 15th century, the king decided to forbid it. So if you were speaking any dialect, you were going to jail.
Wow.
So after a few years, everybody was
Was like-
speaking French perfectly.
Okay.
So and they didn't do it in China, so you know.
Yeah.
Of course, they didn't do it. Fortunately.
Wow, that's pretty extreme.
Yeah. But so now dialects, there's few dialects in Corsica, in Brittany, and
And yeah,
Basque country.
Corsica, you said it's an island, so it's obviously a bit closed off, or not closed off, but separate from the mainland.
Yeah.
Is there a French stigma towards Corsicans?
And vice versa. Do you have a stigma against mainlanders?
More, even more.
Really?
First, there's a lot of cliché about Corsican people, like we should be like tough, violent,
Corsicans
Yeah.
should be tough.
Corsican, yeah. Like there's a lot of mafia in Corsica also, like in Sicilia, and yeah.
So there's that like kind of bridge sort of with Italian culture in
Yeah.
that sense because
Yeah.
it's near Italy.
Yeah, it's near Italy. It's closer to Italy than France. Like, for example, there's a lot of Corsican mafia, of course, like all casinos in Paris. We don't say casino, it's just a place you play cards. They are all run by Corsican people. Like even in Africa, they are all run by Corsican people. In Marseille, all bars with girls are run by Corsican people. In Paris also, and so yeah.
So there are a lot of stereotypes
Yeah.
about you guys.
So,
So
yeah,
you're tougher, more
Violent.
mafia related.
yeah, it's kind of things like that, and lazy also.
And
lazier than
Even lazier
than the mainlanders.
You're the laziest French. Wow.
No wonder we started this podcast so late.
It's like
You had your 7-hour dinner and you had to go beat up some.
and we say we have also cliche about mainland, like they are arrogant. Well, everybody say that, so
Yeah. Yeah.
might be true maybe. Yeah.